Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel on what is, how can I put it, bloody cold, snowy, blowing a gale, just generally grim and nasty day. Has been for most of this week up here, and unfortunately, because I live 2 minutes from work, I haven't been able to skive off, so yes, not particularly pleasant. To say it was Hoth-like out there would be probably fairly accurate. Anyway, what we got today? We have Rubicon models, 1/56 scale, T34 Soviet medium tank, as if we didn't know what a T34 was. Now, these are a wargaming model, so robust, strong, blah blah blah, and these are one of the really rather good ones. Come fairly well recommended for good reasons. And so you may not be able to see it, but it says can be assembled into a t34-76 1940, 41 or 42 variant. Comes with 2 guns, 2 turrets, 2 hulls and 2 road wheel choices, with the external fuel tank oil drums option, and easy to assemble. Revell style box, plenty of bump about the tank on the back, quick colour call out, so Russian green and black grey, picture of the decal sheet. So without further ado, let's see what we get in what is a side opening box. Now, here we are. Yep, that's everything out of the box. So we have our instructions and 3 sprues separately bagged. Quite a bit of plastic. So we'll pop the instructions out of the way. The decal sheet is in the instruction book, which is always nice. Keeps it safe. And we shall start off with sprue A, I think this is. Taped up bags, which is nice. Or are they taped? Are they taped up, or did I open this? I can never remember. I think I may have opened at least one of these. It may be that one. To have a see what the plastic was. I may have actually already filmed a review of this. I can't remember. I'll double check later before I put this up. Anyway, so we start with the first sprue, and I'll zoom you in a bit. Somewhere around there. Let's move the cutting mat a little to make sure we're in shot. While I'm at it, Models for Heroes, Friday night live at the bench on April the 6th. Instead of the normal live show, we'll be having a night of auctions where all the monies raised go to Models for Heroes. So just a shout out for that. I know anyone who's watching me probably already knows, but hey, it's worth mentioning again. So it's Friday the 6th of April, 7:30 UK time. Anyways, what have we got? We've got some bits of plastic. Gonna need a pokey device. We have, first of all, a lower hull in 2 parts. There's a fairly pronounced sink mark there, but wheel goes there, so it's not really going to be an issue. You can fill it if you want. A little bit of texture, whether it's supposed to be a rolled steel or a cast texture, I'm not sure. But as you can see, it's a wargaming piece, so we're not going to have individual link tracks and workable suspension and all that stuff. But everything looks nice and crisp. All the little bolts and rivets look rather nice. We have a couple of different turret tops, or main turret part. Again, nice, crisp, free of flash, nothing nasty on the top. A couple of turret bases, the rear plate with the exhaust moulded in, and they are moulded open at the end. It's a little thing, but yeah, it's nice. A couple of different front glasses plates, or lower glasses plate, different rear plate, and the upper hull, which as you can see, again, you know, scale, it's a wargaming piece, so you don't want too high a parts count, too fiddly, delicate. Things break, fall off. So moulded as one piece with all the engine deck and louvers and even the spare track links moulded on. Again, we have that slight texture. I'm assuming that's just the real tank isn't completely smooth, so giving it a tiny bit of texture, which is nice. And again, everything looks good and crisp and well moulded. And I'm not entirely sure what plastic these are moulded from. We do have some eject pin marks, but you're not going to see them. They're not a problem. They're all sunken anyway. So I'm not entirely sure whether these are ABS or styrene. We might have to have an experiment. I think it was this one I already opened because there's a big chunk of sprue missing. And this is sprue C. As you can see, I'll chop the chunk out. I'll do that again. I'll chop another chunk out so we can have a glue test, see how well it sticks with the Tamiya extra thin. And if that works, then it will be styrene. If not, I have got a tub of Plastruct around here somewhere, and we'll give that a go. So, excuse I. Just a couple of bits of sprue. Just pop a bit of extra thin on. Pop them together and we'll come back at the end and see whether they've stuck. There we go, pop that there. Alright, excuse me. So what do we have on which is sprue C? We have some little headlights and an aerial, sprocket and idler, turret ring, other little bits I'm not entirely sure what they are, driver's hatches, the fuel tanks and the wheels. And as we look, again, crisp, nice levels of detail, I think over the top, there's no flash. On the tyres themselves actually look really nice. I'll try and get zoomed in on those, then you'll see what I mean by the level of detail. Because these are 1 centimetre squares on my cutting mat, so they're not exactly large. They're what? I don't know what we call that. 13-14 mil, something like that. You can see, you know, we've got the tread pattern, we've got the bolts all on the wheel, and it all looks rather nice. Again, we do have that texture on the fuel tanks. Doesn't appear to be on the actual fuel tank straps, so again, a nice piece of detail, as it were. And I'm sure we'll find on the back the exact same thing, where we have ejector pin pads where we don't want ejector pin marks, although we do have EPMs on the back of the wheels, but they're paired so you'll never see those. Same with the sprocket and idler, and just the back of the other parts. So that's all looking rather nice as well. And we come to the third and final sprue, which is sprue B. It's me being me, I couldn't go A, B, C, that'd be too easy. And on this one we have pass. Be the gun barrels, won't it, in this scale? Two different gun variants, the mantlets, shrouds, fenders, turret hatches, more wheels, and these are so that's why we can see here we have I've been zoomed in way too far, haven't I? Let's go through that again. So gun mantlet and shield, etc. The two gun barrels, obviously moulded solid, not hollow. A couple of fenders, some more wheels of the spiderweb type. These will be the steel road wheels without the tyres. And if I bring us over this way, we have the track runs. These are the sets for the steel wheels. We have another set with the rubber tyres on. And as you can see, they're very nicely detailed, especially with something in this scale. Tracks themselves a little bit meh. There's not a huge amount of detail on them. They don't look overly good, overly special, but again, at this scale they'll do the trick. For it's a wargaming piece. It's not technically designed as a true scale model. Again, it's, looking at the general levels of detail, I can't really complain about anything. Other than, say, the tracks are a bit bland, but a bit of mud. I will move it over so you can actually see what I'm talking about again. I forgot to zoom out. So it's all looking rather nice. We've got some more fuel tanks and other parts. So yeah, that all looks tickety boo. And we have a look at the decals, which one up on Games Workshop, they do come in a bag, sealed, rather than just floating about randomly in the bottom of the box with all the sprues, which aren't in bags either, in Games Workshop's case. So we'll pop those out. No paper over them, but that's not really a problem, and these are going to be just completely white out. Let's see if I can get the colour back with my hand. No. Other than the red stars and the little logos, the rest of them are all in white. It's just turret numbers and a few bits of graffiti and unit markings. But they're all, I would say, in register, because they are. Now the carrier film, that's the one. Carrier film is cut nice and close. The decals themselves are actually pretty matte. The shine is all coming off the paper. If I bring these close and angle them, you might actually be able to see what I'm talking about. The camera is going to struggle to focus on them because everything's the same colour, but here we go. So a very nice decal sheet overall. Nothing. Obviously, it depends how well they go down, but it's a tank, and it's a Russian tank at that, so we won't be using very many of them at all. It's ever amusing trying to get these bags back open when they seal shut. When the bag, oh God, I hate this job. Imagine if your job was to sit there all day putting decals into bags that are only about 0.5 millimetre bigger than the decal sheet. Right, now I'm going to remember to zoom back out again so we can see the instructions. Glossy white paper, just in black and white. Picture of the model, sprue map on the front, bit of bump. Choices are optional: no glue, open hole, bend, those kind of general leg end. Kit number 280013. So all the information you're going to want. Is it just a fold out? Yes, it is. There we go. That's how simple it is. So we start out with an option of steel road wheels or rubber road wheels. When you take one side of the lower hull, you pop the wheel and the idler on, then you pop the tracks over the top. Although I would say glue the wheels to the tracks as they're keyed and then glue the whole assembly on. Then the lower hull going together, again with the choice of front plate and lower rear plate. We've got the welded turret or the cast turret with the two different styles of gun. Assembly notes, because of the vast number of t34-76s built between 40 and 42, you can basically intermix the two turrets and the two guns included with the kit. B18 is more common F34 76.2 and B17 is from the Stalingrad tractor plant. So you got the options, and they're explaining to you about the options, which is always nice. And again here we've got the upper hull turret just going on the lower hull. Assembly notes, again, if you want front hull headlights on the back side of the top hull piece, or two holes, drill these open before sticking that down. It's explaining you don't have to do it, but you can if you want the headlights on there. And we can see just how well the upper and lower hulls are going to locate, assuming they fit, which I'm fairly certain they will. But the two big stubs that are in the upper hull locating the two honking great holes in the lower hull. So that should do the trick. It's saying not to glue the turret in. And on the back we have, again, more options of driver's hatches, putting the headlights on, stowage and that kind of things. And a bit more. Design and construction of T-34s are continuously refined during the war to increase effectiveness and decrease costs. Don't be afraid to personalise your model by mixing and matching available options. Basically saying that T-34s, they're all basically slightly different. There's so many different variants and options. But again, so we have the optional oil drums you can fit on. You can fit all of them, some of them, none of them. And the rear plate going on with either the stowage bins or fuel drums, and then the spare tracks and more stowage and aerials going on the side, and that's it. So looking at that, assuming it all fits together, which I have no reason to think it won't, and I might actually get around to building it at some point. It's looking like a solid little kit to me. There's nothing obviously screaming at me wrong or bad. We shall see in a moment whether the plastic will take to tammy it extra thin. Just adjust. Make sure I put all this back in the box. Otherwise I'll be hunting around for things when I do come to build it. There we are. More than once I've done a review of something and left something out of the box, put it in a safe place, you know, that fabled safe place, and then can't find it, or you're hunting around for ages for the PE or the tow cable or something. Right, there we go, it's all back in the box. Pop that back on the cutting mat so you can see, and let's take the bits of plastic I stuck with the TET, and yes, I have just pulled it apart, but it wasn't the greatest glue joint, and it appears that the TET does work. Not great, but it does work. You might be better off with the Tamiya white glue, And if I could find my bottle of it, I've got a bottle of it somewhere. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where am I hiding it? There it is. It's a plastic weld, which, if this is ABS plastic, this stuff does glue. Butyrate, ABS, acrylic, perspex, pretty much any kind of plastic. It's, I'm not sure whether it's just mech. No point in me doing a sniff test because, oh, headbutt the camera. To me it all smells exactly the same of nothing, and I'm not dumb enough to taste test it. Well, not on purpose anyway, I might accidentally at some point. You never know. Anyway, so I think it was Sebastian who was asking about these, so there you go, Seb. Quick look through the box for you. Hope you've seen enough to either sway your decision or help at least. And model on, peeps. Have a good day. Stay warm and snug and toasty. If you can keep inside, do it, because it's bloody horrible out there. I'm about to go to work and be outside for 8 hours. Enjoy your modelling. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.